Steamy conditions again today. We've got tropical rain producing showers and thunderstorms on the move, and I'm tracking those in a moment.
Cleanup is underway after a train derailment yesterday in Falmouth sent 23 cars off of the tracks, leaving behind significant damage to some of those cars as well as this rail line.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump attempt to turn their messages as both candidates deal with lingering controversies. I'm Craig Boswell at the White House. That's coming up.
This is WKYT News at 4.
Welcome to WKYT News at 4. Andrea Walker and Amber Philpott reporting. More of the same for today's weather. Another steamy day outside with another chance for rain and storms.
Yeah, here is a live look now from downtown Lexington. WKYT's Chris Bailey's here now with more on your forecast. More of the same, Chris.
Yeah, it's that tropical pattern we have been stuck in. Seems like stuck in neutral for a little while. And unfortunately, as we go forward, we're going to put it in overdrive for later this weekend and next week in terms of the thunderstorms. Today, again, the steam factor is out there, though the current heat index values compared to the same point yesterday are not as hot. It's low and mid-90s most areas. Couple of pockets of significantly warmer conditions. Look at the Ohio River from Covington down the AA highway through Maysville to Ashland, upper 90s. 93 feels like temperature into Mount Sterling, Jackson. 98 is what it feels like. Current temperatures range from 84 in Somerset to right at 90 in Jackson and Frankfort. Most areas, though, again, under 90 degrees, but the humidity is absolutely off the charts, and that's leading your thermometer to basically tell you some lies right now because it feels a lot hotter than what it shows. We'll look at southern Kentucky Defender Radar Network, scattering showers and thunderstorms from Knox County over toward Pulaski County. A little more action here north of the Hal Rogers Parkway, Bluegrass region. Over the past couple of days, I guess we've been doing something right. Any thunderstorm action kind of leaving us high and dry in the Bluegrass region. That's okay. We need to be high and dry for a little while. To our southwest, though, that flow comes off the Gulf of Mexico. Future radar continues to pick up on an isolated shower thunderstorm out there as the sun sets. But that big spin that is slowly moving across the Gulf of Mexico means business for the Bluegrass state. We'll show you what that brings to the 7-day forecast as it slowly heads our way in a few.
We are tracking breaking news out of Anderson County. Rescue crews are trying to reach a stranded man after his boat capsized in the Kentucky River. It happened near Lock Road. State police say the boater got too close to the dam and went over. He was able to swim to safety, but is now stranded in the river. State police say the man is okay, and rescue teams are now using a boat to try and reach him. We do have a crew on the way to the scene, and we will bring you more on WKYT, and check WKYT.com as well.
The scene of a massive train derailment remains busy today as crews clean up the mess.
Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused the derailment, sending dozens of train cars off the track. This is video that Officer Don shot from the scene in Falmouth yesterday in Pendleton County. The incident led to road closures and even some evacuations. Our Hillary Thornton is in Falmouth with a look at the cleanup efforts. It's our top story at 4.
There are dozens of workers out here helping with this cleanup. We're getting a much closer look today at the derailment that happened yesterday afternoon. You can see just how massive each of these cars are, as well as how significant of a crash this must have been due to the damage to those cars as well as the tracks.
You could get near here yesterday, but I guess they have, it's nothing, dangerous or anything there, so we got a lot closer today. I've never seen nothing like this in my life, and probably never will again, and hope I never do, I'm just glad nobody, got seriously hurt or anything like that, so yeah, it's really something to see.
As big of a sight as the actual derailment is for this small town, so is the cleanup process.
It's unbelievable, the big trucks and just how massive they've just come in here. I don't know where from, but just, all these trucks, RJ, it's like one big company, got red trucks everywhere.
23 cars from the 125-car train running off the tracks, many of the 23 derailed cars sustaining damage. Heavy equipment filling the area as railroad crews working to get the cars upright, some that are able then back down the tracks out of the way. Meanwhile, others that are mangled requiring a little bit more work, being lifted out of the way and the debris removed. Derailment causing some damage to the rail line itself. Now new tracks coming in by the truckload.
Now, right now, as it is still very early in this cleanup process, there is no word on when they hope to have this line reopen. In Pendleton County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
From Cincinnati to Atlanta.
A man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend was back in court this afternoon for one of his final hearings before he goes to trial. Bass Webb is accused of murdering Sabrina Vaughn in Montgomery County in 2003. Investigators say Vaughn's body was found nearly 7 years later in Powell County. The trial is set for September 6th. Webb is already serving time for the murder of another ex-girlfriend. We'll take you to the courtroom on WKYT News at 6. We're learning more this afternoon about a motorcycle rider killed in a crash.
William Bentley Hayes died last night when police say he hit a van on Kentucky 192 in Laurel County. Hayes' friends say he was an avid rider and extremely giving. He was instrumental in organizing a benefit for another motorcycle rider who died in May.
He just got everybody together, went out on his limb for, to raise as much money for him and his family, and just to show support.
Hayes grew up in Laurel County before moving to Richmond. He recently returned to Laurel County. We'll have more on Hayes coming up on WKYT News at 4:30.
The new school year started this morning for Scott County schools. It's not just the first day for students, it's also the first day with students for the new superintendent of the district. Kevin Hubb takes over for Patricia Putty, who retired last year. He spent the day checking out all the schools and introducing himself to the children.
What's like to see him on the first day is we've been several schools already, and it looks like the 10th day of school. I mean, teachers are teaching lessons, students are engaged in learning, and that's what's so exciting for me.
Students at Western Elementary were surprised to learn that their principal had a boss. Superintendent Hubb said he was planning to visit half of the schools in the district today. Coming up on WKYT News at 5, you're going to hear from a lawmaker who is proposing a bill to push back school start dates.
Now to some stories making headlines across the nation at 4. Taxes, jobs, and the economy top the agenda for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump today.
The two candidates are drawing contrast between their plans. Craig Boswell is at the White House with the latest from campaign 2016.
Hillary Clinton toured a manufacturing plant that she says epitomizes her vision of the U.S. economy.
If you can dream it, you should be able to build it. And we're going to get back to doing that.
Clinton called for billions in new investments in manufacturing, infrastructure, and investments in people.
$25 billion in government seed funding could unlock more than $250 billion and really get our country moving.
Clinton and Trump have differing philosophies when it comes to taxes. Clinton wants to raise taxes on billionaires, while Trump wants an across-the-board cut for everyone.
He told a group of home builders that Clinton's plan will stifle economic growth.
Now she's planning another job-killing $1.3 trillion tax increase.
And he's lowered the tax burden he says businesses should pay.
I've cut mine down to 15%. 15% for businesses.
Trump and Clinton both chose Michigan for their economic speeches because it's the kind of blue-collar state that could decide this election. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
CBS News has also learned that Hillary Clinton plans to release her 2015 tax returns in the coming days. Donald Trump has refused to release his returns, saying they are under audit from the IRS.
From shredded tires to a sofa sitting in traffic lanes, road debris is causing thousands of crashes. More on the AAA study ahead.
And sales are falling at Wendy's, what the CEO is blaming, coming up in WKYT Money Watch. Welcome back in. Wendy's is the latest fast food restaurant to post disappointing sales numbers. That begins today's Money Watch.
Second quarter growth was a worse than expected 0.4%. Their CEO says the reason is falling grocery prices have made it cheaper to eat at home. Shares of Wendy's dropped more than 2% yesterday.
Remember the fear of paying $4 a gallon for gas? Well, that may be a thing of the past, at least for now. Gas prices are expected to drop below $2 a gallon this fall and stay there through the winter. The U.S. Energy Department made the prediction mostly due to the prolonged slump in oil prices and the switch to the winter blend of gasoline, which is cheaper to make. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular unleaded is $2.12. AAA is warning of the risk from debris that flies off other vehicles on roads.
There have been hundreds of thousands of dangerous and sometimes deadly accidents. Chris Van Cleve has more on how researchers believe many tragedies could be prevented.
Driver beware. Dangerous debris in the road or from an unsecured load falling off other vehicles.
There it goes.
Has been blamed for more than 200,000 crashes on U.S. roads between 2011 and 2014. A AAA Foundation study found 39,000 injuries and more than 500 deaths during that time. Watch this video from June. An SUV hauling a boat. A pad comes loose, and the motorcycle behind can't get out of the way in time.
The really troublesome thing about all this is a majority of these crashes are preventable if drivers would just take the necessary precautions to secure their load or maintain their vehicle properly.
It's a tragedy Heidi Coffey and her 5 children have been living with for 10 years.
I just couldn't believe it. I thought there had to be some mistake.
Coffey was 7 months pregnant when her husband Gavin was killed. This metal shelving was not properly secured and flew out of the back of this pickup. Gavin tried to avoid it and was hit by another car on a Seattle area freeway.
I miss being a wife, because that was my favorite thing, was to be his wife and best friend, and that's what I miss the most.
37% of those killed in the AAA study died like Gavin, crashing while swerving to avoid debris. It's most likely to happen on a freeway in the middle of the day. Drivers responsible for creating road debris can face fines in all 50 states. Because of a 2004 lost load accident that blinded Maria Federici, Washington state became one of just 16 states to pass a law that can send a responsible driver to jail.
I don't know how I could live with myself if I ever caused someone's injury or death because of something that could have so easily been prevented.
It's a business inspired by her daughter. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about with more on Bows with Attitude when we return here on WKYT.
Our weather has a little attitude right now, a little salty out there with a steamy atmosphere that will lead to some thunderstorms. We'll track those when I get back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
It is a steamy tropical atmosphere across central and eastern Kentucky, and we are dealing with a little more cloud cover that is out there right now. And those clouds for Lexington and surrounding areas helping the temperature out a little bit. Similar to yesterday, most of us into the upper 80s. And when I was telling you your thermometer is going to be lying to you, here's what I'm meaning by that. Your thermometer says it's 88, but you throw the humidity into the mix, you get those two together, and your body says, no, that thermometer's not right. Your body says the temperature is 95 degrees. That's what it feels like when you combine the thermometer and the actual humidity. We look across central and eastern Kentucky, and right on cue this afternoon, we're getting in on some scattered thunderstorms that are beginning to try to bubble up. And similar area to this point yesterday, from Somerset to Williamsburg into parts of Jackson County, Owsley County, south of Jackson into Breathitt County, a little isolated stuff across the northeastern corner of the state. And just like yesterday, Lexington Metro, nothing really showing up. Broaden out the view and just look at the kind of freckled nature of the clouds and of the scattered showers and the thunderstorms. But you can see the overall movement is coming from the south. So the volunteer state of Tennessee is volunteering some of those showers and storms to the bluegrass state. Here is our spin that is with a semi-tropical low right on top of the Gulf of Mexico. This mainly an upper level feature, but if this were down into the Gulf, we'd be talking about a bigger system in terms of tropics. Well, it is right on top of the Gulf Coast states, and it is slowly working its way toward the area. And that flow, again, is coming from the southwest. Here's the new computer model from one of my favorites. It's the European model. That's right, it comes from over the Atlantic Ocean. But it's giving the forecast for the rains, and look at the trajectory of what is that system through Louisiana and then arcing up into the Ozarks and then taking a hard right into the Ohio Valley. Exactly where that happens will be the determining factor on exactly how much rain falls over the next 7 days. Now, snapshot in time, don't look at a number and just get married to it and think, yeah, that's what we're going to get over the next week. Just know it's the trend that you like to look at, and the trend is for a lot of rain to fall over the next 7 days, not all at once. Let's break it down over the next 3 days. Tropical tomorrow, scattered thunderstorm that will go up. Storms will be on the increase on Saturday. Watch for some heavy rains. It is later Saturday into Sunday when some local high water issues will be possible. And through the day tomorrow, similar to what we have out there today, as we break it down for you, threat for a thunderstorm, thermometer will lie again. Upper 80s, flirting with 90, but it will feel a whole lot hotter than that. And there is that extended forecast with the possibility of the thunderstorms really ramping up later Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. Right now, let's check on traffic. Here's Officer Don.
Looks like the exit ramp from Paris Pike, or from I-75 to Paris Pike, is backed up right now. I don't see a wreck there, just very, very heavy traffic for whatever reason on that exit ramp right now from northbound 75. Just check the interstate on 64, no trouble there. Drive times to Nicholasville still about less than 15 minutes, and it looks like we're okay right now on 75 towards Scott County. Now back to you in the studio.
There's a booming business in town, and you might be surprised that its #1 seller is bows.
That's right, as in hair bows. Deanne Stevens is out and about today to explain. Hi, Deanne.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. We are in the home of Jennifer and Caroline Royalty. They also have a beautiful little sister, Reagan, who does not want to be a part of this. We've got bows with attitudes, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah. What do you think? Am I too old to wear one of these?
I think it looks pretty good.
Well, you told me, you said make sure you get it on top of your head, because that's what we have to do
like this.
When we wear a bow. Bows with attitudes. I love this story, and I promise I'll take the bow out soon. I just had to. I think a few years ago I wore one or two of these.
I think it works for you.
You think so? Tell folks how you got started doing this. I love your story.
Well, I, of course, Caroline cheers, and so what happened was she was always wanting to order these, and so, you know, they kept coming and coming, and finally I said, this cannot be rocket science, so I went ahead and I just kind of played around with it, and it kind of took it from there, and started making them on my own, and a local gym here asked me to make some for them, and so then I decided, okay, maybe there's something here, so went ahead and launched an Etsy store. That's kind of, basically, we did that before we even did a website. And that's kind of really where it took off, because now I deal with teams all over this country and about 7 others.
And let me tell you, it didn't just take off. It took off enough for her to quit her full-time job. And this is what we do for a living, right?
Yes.
Okay, Etsy, do you encourage folks who are like you, crafty like you, to put something like that together to get a business started?
Absolutely, and Etsy is, I mean, it's the best place to do it because it's very reasonable as far as prices to list your items, as well as, I mean, they just make it very user-friendly. So it's a very great place to start any business where you're actually making things.
And for those of you who have not been around the cheer world and all the competitions, these bad boys are not cheap. So I'm sure that helped you with your children cheering, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of how a lot of businesses get started.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's one of the things, is, you know, the nice thing with our situation here is we have Caroline, who is in the world. So, you know, she's right with that demo. She knows exactly what everybody wants. She helps me design them. Reagan helps me work the competitions because we do travel regionally.
And your husband just stays out of the house.
Exactly. He wants no part of it. He just wants to know how
nothing
it's
to do with it. Okay, how can folks get more info on your bow?
We have a website, bowswithattitude.com. We're also on Instagram, Bows with Attitude. So either of those places or Facebook. So, you know, we have local pickup here if you're in Lexington, or we ship everywhere.
And she's even doing more than bows now. We're going to talk more about that coming up at 4:50. And there's a lot of red and black in there on that table. We're going to switch that out for blue and white. You're doing the whole team?
Yes.
Cardinal? U of L?
Yes.
Did I say that?
U of L cheer,
U of L cheer. All right, we'll switch it to blue and white.
We're a statewide company.
That's right. Listen to her. I'm Deanne Stevens, out and about. Check him out, bowswithattitude.com. I might put it back in, too. Back to you guys.
Those are so cute. A new approach to treating people with HIV and tuberculosis that's ahead in Better Living. Also, new research shows how chemotherapy given during pregnancy could affect baby girls years later.
Tomorrow's Mega Millions jackpot is $45 million, and Saturday's Powerball jackpot is $82 million.
Now it's time for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. Chemotherapy during pregnancy may affect the future fertility of unborn baby girls, according to a new study. Researchers in the United Kingdom exposed the fetuses of mice to the drug etoposide and found it damaged the ovaries in female fetuses. Etoposide is currently considered safe for women in their 2nd and 3rd trimesters. New research shows some women are more likely to have successful pregnancies using frozen embryos. The study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, looked at 1,500 infertile women and compared using frozen embryos versus fresh during in vitro fertilization. There are new treatment guidelines for people with HIV and tuberculosis. Doctors have long treated the two diseases separately, but new guidelines from several organizations, including the CDC, find it safe for patients to begin antiretroviral therapy for HIV shortly after beginning treatments for tuberculosis. Now let's head to Chris for another check of the weather.
Yeah, we're dealing with at least some scattered thunderstorms that are out there across the area, but it is the steam and the humidity levels that are absolutely getting us yet again today. We look across the region, temperatures upper 80s, flirting with 90, but that doesn't include the humidity that is sky high right now, and it continues to make it feel like it is a lot hotter than it actually is across the bluegrass states. So don't look at the thermometer. It's not going to tell you the full story out there. Defender Radar Network with an isolated shower thunderstorm showing up across parts of the area. That's the same old we've been in for the past couple of days. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'll show you why the scattered thunderstorms will become more widespread as we get a tropical influence into the 7-day forecast. That is straight ahead on WKYT News at 4:30, and it starts right now.